Hey, I'm live. All right. Um, my wife kind of helped me decorate the background there, so there's a few other things going on that she put in there. So I had this thing happen to me. Really, it was over the last couple days. There's a friend that I had, he's kind of a friend that I had been friends with for many years now, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, can I borrow your power washer?" And he's borrowed it many times before. But this time, actually, I mean, this time I was okay with it. But then I woke up at like 2 in the morning that night after having the conversation and was reminded of what he did to me. We were doing this business transaction where I was selling a piece of property and he had bought it. He like signed the contract, gave a down payment, and I had multiple bidders on this property, and he was the highest bidder, but he was also my friend. And I had signed the contract, took the deposit from him. I took a $5,000 deposit, and he ends up wanting to back out of the contract. Now, at that point, for me, I'm like, "You're not going to get. I don't. You're a friend or not. You're not going to get your money back. Your 5,000 is gone. I'm going to sell it to the next person." So what ends up happening is he doesn't want the property, so I was going to keep the 5,000. Actually, I don't even remember. I might have been so nice that I was going to give him the 5,000 back as like a, but then not do business with him again or something like that. I don't 100% remember. But anyways, what he ended up doing, I ended up calling the next bidder. The next bidder kind of backed out. I'm like, oh, okay, this kind of really puts me in a tough position now because I was standing to do really well from the sale of this property. And then my friend, he calls me back and he wants back in on the property, but he wants it for 5,000 less than before. And I was like, okay, you kind of put me in a hard spot. Um, Fine, I'll sell it to you for 5,000 less. This friend, we both had commonality because we were in the same business. And I guess I don't want to go too into detail because I don't think that's important for everyone. The point is he during that transaction, he did something really shady to me. I feel like where it was really snaky. Like you when you have someone up against a corner, but he's your friend, and you know that. I'm talking about him against me. Um, I feel like the truth really comes out about who you are. And I think for many days after that, I think it really just didn't sit well with me. But at the same time, I didn't want it to cost the friendship because I did value the friendship, but apparently maybe more than he valued it. Anyways, I haven't really been talking to him recently, really for many years. Once in a while he'll reach out, "Can I borrow this?" Or, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I feel like I was shown this. I woke up at 2 in the morning and I was brought back to that exact moment in time where we were doing the transaction together. The same day that he reached out to me. And I feel like I was shown that and I had trouble sleeping after that because I was so mad. I was like, that's fucked up. And this guy calls me his friend. And so anyways, I ended up messaging him today, which is like a couple days later, and just saying, because he reached out to me. So again, I don't know how much of the story I should tell. I ended up moving, and he came all the way out to visit me from his work to get that power washer and maybe to talk, hang out. He came out to my house, my old house. I wasn't home. There's nobody living there. I forgot to message him my new address and tell him that I moved. But I was working, I work from home, and a coworker had reached out, and I got entangled in this conversation. I just completely forgot that he was coming over. Like, we don't ever talk, and out of the blue, I think the same day or the day before, he messages me that, "Hey, can I borrow your power washer? Can I borrow?" I can't even talk. "Can I borrow your power washer and come over?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And then that day, he's like, "Yeah, I'll probably leave after I get off work at 4." And I was on my way home when I saw that, and I messaged back. I was like, "Cool, I'll see you then." Got home, coworker messaged me, completely forgot, and I have my phone on, like, silent, do not disturb, like, so you it's really hard to reach me. He called me a couple times, he texted me, whatever, ended up going back home. That's kind of beside the point. I totally felt bad for that. I did not do that on purpose. Um, that was a complete accident. But I think he was upset about it, and he should be, or whatever. I would have been upset about it for sure. Like, somebody, I am communicating with somebody, telling them I'm coming, and then they don't they don't live at their house, and they're not answering their phone. It's like, dude, I told you I was coming. Why didn't you answer? But it was a complete mistake on my part, that part. But I think it all happened for a reason, and that reason was kind of like karma coming back for that incident that he did, you know, where he cost me $5,000. And, and because he was my friend, I kind of let him get away with it. And to me, it's not a one-to-one, but either way, I forgive and forget, or I forgive, but I don't forget. And so anyways, he's upset. He's already at home because he's driven out there from work. He went all the way home. I didn't answer his phone. I didn't answer his text until he gets home, pretty much. And then so then this is on like a Monday. On Wednesday, I called him after that because I felt so bad. I was like, I need to talk to him because this was messed up on my part. This is you know I need to talk to him because it was an accident. I need him to understand I didn't do that on purpose. Excuse me. So um, yeah, and again, I don't know how much. So anyways, so Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, he texts me like, "Hey, why don't I stop out tomorrow around noon?" Um, I talked to him about maybe playing some pickleball or something, at Lifetime, and seeing um, if he wanted to meet up and do that. And he couldn't do that. I guess his wife had some appointment, or they had a dinner, a couple's dinner with another couple. They had plans already, basically. I wasn't upset about that. Um, but just that whole memory brought me back, and I feel like he hasn't changed. Like, he's still kind of the same person. Like, he didn't call me to hang out. He called me to borrow my power washer. And so uh, I haven't reached out to him either, just because I've been busy. I have kids and family. He doesn't have any of that stuff. Um, but he's busy as well. So we're both kind of busy. We have that in common. And I guess I went back and forth with my wife talking about this. Like, should I, well, first of all, I went back inside. I went inside myself of like, what should I do here? Do I lie and tell him? Because I really just didn't want to see him anymore. I didn't want to hang out. I didn't want to do anything. After I brought back that memory, it was like, oh shit, like I completely forgot he did that to me. And I'm a different person now. And I'm forgiving, but at the same time, like, if you haven't changed, then I don't want to, I don't need you in my life, I guess, to put it in so many words. Um, I don't have a ton of people in my friend circle, but at the same time, I'm okay with that, and I'm super busy anyways. So I guess I just as soon, um, if I'm gonna have friends in my friend circle, I need to know, like, you got my back, like, we're true friends, and I didn't feel that about him. So, so needless to say, I went inside myself and I was like, "Ah, what should I say?" Like, maybe I'll just lie to him and say, like, "Yeah, I don't know where the power washer is, don't come out and get it because I don't know where it's at." And then hopefully things would just end and kind of fizzle out there until he messages me, who knows, maybe a few months, a year later, however long. "Hey, what's going on? Can I borrow your power washer? Did you find out where it is or something?" Um, and I've been really struggling with this, not struggling, but just contemplating, I guess is a better word for it, about this whole like telling truths. Like, we really shouldn't be telling lies. And I don't want to be, "Oh, that's bad, you're going to hell," or whatever for you telling lies. It's not about that. It's about this. It's about your throat chakra. You want to keep that thing clean and free of blockages. Don't be telling lies. Don't be telling lies. Be honest. And I feel like my throat chakra is open. I want to keep it that way. And so I knew where my power washer is. I don't want to lie to him. I don't want to say, "Oh, I lost it," when I didn't. I needed to tell the hard truth. And I didn't go into too much detail because I feel like that would have just caused drama and maybe back and forth. I basically left it as like, "Hey, like, I don't want to lend my power washer. And, but I wish you all the best. And, I'm sure I'll see you around." I even left a smiley face because um, I really don't have any animosity towards him. But yeah, I feel like this whole thing was almost a test for me. So if you were drawn to this video, if you came across this video, it wasn't an accident. You've probably got something similar going on in your life, or you will. And you need to deal with it, not in the same way that I did, whatever feels true to you. But those were kind of some of the things that I had went through, a whole range of emotions. And at first I was like happy to see him and talk to him, and then I had that the vision or the memory of what had happened, and then I was like angry, really angry about it. And then I went through like, okay, how do I approach this? Like, let me be kind and gentle and just let him down easy. Let me lie to him, get him off the hook. But then my anger came back, and I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, "Well, but I can tell you're frustrated." And I said, "Yeah, I guess I am, but I'm starting to learn that anger is something to be worked with. It's something to help you to break out of your comfort zone and maybe do something that you wouldn't otherwise do." Um, and in this instance, it was confronting my friend and just saying, like, "Look, I don't want to borrow my power washer to you. And I don't really want to be friends anymore either," in so many words. I didn't tell him exactly those words, but it took a lot of courage and strength to say those words because it's difficult for me. I don't like saying that to people. I don't like hurting people's feelings, and maybe he could care less. But that's the kind of person I am, where I care so much about how this might impact the other person. But at the same time, for him, maybe it's a slap in the face of like, "Whoa, I I thought we were friends. Like, I was friends with this guy for a long time, and we've gone on trips together or, whatever. And all of a sudden now he doesn't want to hang out with me. He doesn't want to lend me his power. Like, what's going on?" And he never reached back out on his text. So he might have correlated like me just totally not giving him my new address and going to the old house, like I did that on purpose, and that, you know, something weird is going on with me and I've lost my marbles or something. I'm going insane. Who the hell knows? I don't know. But Um, what a strange thing to happen, you know. Um, it's because we haven't talked. I think he came out to visit maybe 6 months ago, and I don't remember if he borrowed anything then. He might have actually came out to hang out or talk or see what I've been up to, and he wanted to be friends and stuff. But just after I was reminded of that event, it's like, well, what am I doing with this guy? He's he's very selfish. He's only about himself, and he's done very well for himself. But at the end of the day, when you do well for yourself, do you want to know that you did it with integrity and be like, yeah, I did it, and I did this task. I did this, you know, with integrity. Like I paid all the people that I should have paid, or I didn't snake anybody. Uh, and obviously he doesn't care about that. And there's a lot of people in the world that are like that, and that's okay. You know, just know who you are. If you choose to be like that, that's fine. I don't choose to surround myself with people like that. Anyways, hopefully I made the point clear. I covered my bases. Thank you, Elsie. I'd be curious on, if you're running into any of these issues or similar issues, what did you do? How did you approach it? Do you think I approached it properly, or do you think I was maybe in the wrong, or would you have done it differently? I'm certainly open to um, I'm open to your opinions. That doesn't mean that this is not going to change anything. I've already done what I've done, and I have no regrets about it. Another thing that phrase that kind of was running through my mind was that I've been told lately that I'm afraid to make any mistakes. I'm too perfect. Okay, Elsie, go sit. Okay, I'll come up in a second. Okay, I'm afraid to make mistakes. Like I don't want to move this way. I don't want to move that way because I'm afraid to make a mistake. So this is me kind of putting my foot in the sand and saying, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. What are you going to do? All you can do is learn from your mistakes, maybe approach things in a different way. And in an ideal scenario, I guess, you would forgive the person and like maybe not cut them off, maybe just pretend like nothing happened. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the solution to me. I struggle with this because some people say that you should wake up every day like it's a new day. If you don't remember any of the baggage, you put it all down, you throw it all away, burn it in the trash, whatever. Meaning anybody who wronged you yesterday has done right by you today until they wrong you today. And I don't know, maybe I'll learn that. But in this 3D reality, that's difficult because there's so many people that will wrong you and you will end up homeless with nothing. And at the end of the day, part of self-love is taking care of yourself and putting yourself first above others. So, if you're going to give everything away and let everybody have their way with you, you're not going to have anything, and you're not going to be happy at the end of the day. And we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to live our life free of people that don't have our best interests at heart. So, yeah, really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this. This is probably like really controversial. It goes against the grain. I think my wife was in the vein of just lying to him and saying, "Oh, hey, why don't you just say that you borrowed it to one of my family or something like that?" And I said, "Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But again, it goes back to the lying, and the blocking of my throat chakra. Like, I don't need to do that. Let me just be honest with him. And if he's curious why I would say such a thing, he can ask about it, and I'm willing to talk about it. But I don't need to say any more than I need to say. We're just on two different life paths, life trajectories, and I wish him the best. I don't wish any ill upon him, but until he becomes more selfless, you just can't be in my friend circle like that. Like, maybe you could be a student or a client or something like that, but you can't be in my friend circle, where I'm going to keep in touch with you and make efforts to hang out with you and stuff like that. And being I haven't seen him really like consistently in years, maybe he did change, but the fact that he's still calling to borrow my power washer, he could just buy one for like $100, $150. And I know he's got the money. But he's very frugal. I guess his time isn't important to him. He'd rather drive all the way out to my house. It's like a 20-minute drive one way, than just go to the store and be done, because he's borrowed it several times since I've had it. I don't mind, but and to be clear, like, when he first called me, I almost thought about giving it to him before I had that memory, that flashback of what had happened. I almost gave him my power washer because I don't use it. But I still wouldn't mind giving it away, but I can't give it to him. Like, I'd be doing myself a disservice. And like I said, I feel like that was a test of some sort. Repeating karmic cycles, and I need to stand in my power and say, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. And so that I can draw the people to me that are actually going to be real friends and supportive, unselfish people like I am. So yeah, interesting video. I feel like I almost, maybe that happened, so I create a video about it. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Would you lie, or could you be honest? And if you were honest, what would you say to the friend? I'll leave it there. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.